sports fans, welcome to Our Media Sports. I'm your host, Mercy. Today we are here to discuss one of the latest matches that has happened over the weekend. I'm here with my co-host. I have Courage on my immediate left, and on my far end, I have Mr. Atiga Force. Yes, the Force. Yes. Welcome, guys. Welcome to
Thank
today's
you very
session.
much.
Have you watched today's game? What was your general overview of the game?
I'll go with the Chelsea.
The Chelsea one.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a very nice match. Chelsea dominated. The scoreline says it all. Won emphatically, 4-1.
Yeah, that was big.
Yes, there were a lot of substitutions in the game. I think every player, every single player that deserves to stay in this Chelsea team.
Chelsea has a lot of robust, people on the bench, so it's only right.
Yes. The core team, actually, we've seen the core team today. So the players involved in today's game are basically going to be the core team of Chelsea's team next season. They are the players going to play for Chelsea. If no extraordinary arrival come in, because I don't see Chelsea adding up in many more players.
Are you sure? This is Chelsea.
Okay, anything can happen since the windows is not closed. Yes. So it was a well-contested game, and then Chelsea dominated 4-1. Seen signs of potential strikers who hardly misfire. Like they are just scoring goals. Delap scored brace, and then Joao Pedro also scored. It's a positive thing to have two strikers combined for 3 goals in a game, and then also even their substitute players like Andre Santos provided an assist. So they've been very efficient up front. So it's a very, very good Chelsea team we are about to witness in the upcoming season. Also, on the other hand, AC Milan, they sold their best player, who was Reinders, to Manchester City. Kyle Walker left. They've sold quite some quality players, and then they brought in Luka Modric and co. I don't know what they aim to achieve this season, because the team has become depleted for me. I don't see.
It's only preseason, so don't you think it's
whatever you do in preseason is what transferred into the season. If you're not able to pick up form from the preseason, I don't see any better thing in you going into the season, because whatever you demonstrate is what you are going to do in real life. Today they were just vulnerable to watch. Today they were not able to even share 2-3 passes together. They were being bossed around like all the departments on the game. A goalkeeper was supposed to go to Chelsea, or who was on the verge of joining Chelsea. Imagine him conceding 4 goals against Chelsea. So what does that say? He got booed in the course of the game. And then their substitutes, Fofana, came to at least get a consolation.
Yeah, he scored one there.
Yes, the only positive thing I saw was one of their players, who was a Chelsea former player, Chelsea academy graduate, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He was the only positive thing.
Let me not even cut you short. First, what is your, a review of this Chelsea AC Milan match? Do you side with Corey when he says that AC Milan side looked very depleted? Do you think, Chelsea had the upper hand in this game?
Well, like we rightly indicated, this is just a friendly match, you understand? And anybody who would justifiably, argue that the performance in the friendly match or in the preseason match is going to determine your outcome in the season, because the season is a long season,
one.
A 38, a season match. So I don't think that it is right for us to justifiably conclude that the performance in today's match, the performance against Chelsea, is going to define the season for AC Milan. Because if you go to Italy currently, if you take away Juventus, if you take away Napoli, if you take away Inter Milan, then the strongest team to come thereof is AC Milan. But considering the fact that they've been able to bring in Luka Modric, you can say that yes, age is not on his side, but it comes with a wealth of experience. Five champions or 6 Champions Leagues, from Real Madrid. So the experience is there. But you see, one thing that you don't have to lose sight of is the fact that this is an opportunity for the coach, Massimiliano Allegri, to test his players. You understand? Give everybody an equal opportunity to justifiably prove to him that. And you see, it is also an opportunity to test your tactical dispensation. A coach might go with a 4. You see, there are certain coaches who have a defined tactical understanding, maybe a 4-3-3, a 4-2-2, a 3-4-3-1. But the friendly matches gives you the opportunity to test the tactics. You understand?
I think that was why. That was why I think Chelsea decided to play their very vital players that I think they'll be using for the season. Because even for their substitutes, you could see, like Courage is saying, they literally brought everybody that they may possibly use for the entire season. So, like I said, I think I honestly side with you on that. Coaches should be able to, manage the players well.
You manage the players. You test the system. You test the tactics. You test the suitability. You see, one thing about tactical understanding is that the suitability of players in that tactical structure is very, very key.
Sure.
That is why a coach can implement the tactics and then disband the tactics because maybe it does not suit the style of the team. Okay. So the preseason affords you the opportunity to test these variables.
Okay. So you back to courage. You were talking about, the performances of AC Milan and then Chelsea. Do you think that the performance that Chelsea put up in the FIFA Club World Cup, do you think it is what they are holding on to and then probably entering the next season with? Do you think it has helped them? Because I don't remember AC Milan also participating in the FIFA Club World Cup. So when it comes to form, I would say that maybe Chelsea has a better form, looking at the fact that they have all these new young players. So maybe do you think Chelsea just had the upper hand in this game because of their current form?
I'll say they've had a pre-season. They had a preseason prior to the preseason.
Yeah, true.
Yes, not to downgrade the impact of the Club World Cup because it's a very prestigious tournament they participated in. But then that helped them with team cohesion and then understanding because these same players participated in the Club World Cup. I remember on the day Joao Pedro was signed, he flew to USA the same day to join the team, and then so as other players, even Liam Delap, except Gittins who couldn't join immediately, he signed. So these are the same players. So they participated in a pre-tournament before, and then they also won one of the preseason games. That was yesterday or 3 days ago.
One of the
against Leverkusen.
Yes, against Leverkusen. Exactly. Yeah, so they've had numerous preparations before meeting this AC Milan side. But the AC Milan players were on vacation. I went to London just few weeks ago, and then I saw Ruben Loftus-Cheek with her sister around. So
I mean, they had a long season. Let's not even. They had a long season, about 80 games in it. They had a long season.
Yes, I know. So while Loftus-Cheek and Ada were on holiday, Rhys James and co, they were on fire. Yes, so you see, so that also counts, and then also the reason why Chelsea look a bit sharper or more sharper than AC Milan. That's why they are able to brush them aside with ease. So going to the season, it will be very, very, very tough for AC Milan, and then especially teams that couldn't get an opportunity to participate in the Club World Cup, because that was the first phase of preseason. So the second phase is your team's general preseason, and then we all know the Club World Cup was very, very tough and then competitive. So if you're able to participate in a more competitive tournament than your regular preseason, where you come and then you run a lot, Cooper test and stuff, you get to test your strength against other teams, and then it was more like intercontinental tournament. Yes, because we had teams from Africa, teams from Europe, and then
a lot of federations.
Yes, so you get
literally all the federations.
Yes, so you get to test your strength against all these teams, and then Chelsea, imagine as victors, winners, yes, in the Club World Cup was a very, very huge motivation coming up against AC Milan. And they demonstrated that right after the game. Rhys James was put on an interview, and then he said, "Don't forget, we are all champions, and then we have a lot to offer this season." So it was a confidence and a morale booster for Chelsea.
Okay, so you think Chelsea has a lot to offer this season? That will be a lot to look out for. We'll also bring you the updates on that. Now, first, do you think you figured out Enzo Maresca's game plan going into the season? Do you think there's something he's going to change, moving forward, or he's going to maintain the kind of style of play that he's going with? What is your general idea of the kind of formation he's moving into the next season with?
I am an old school, a football purist. You understand? I mean, I go with a statement Mourinho did indicate that if you have a system, we have coaches that rely on a particular system. If it's a 4-3-3, it's a 4-3-3. You understand? I mean, there are no variants, there are no sideways to that variant. You understand? So, and Mourinho did indicate that if you believe in a system and it's not working, and you still continue working with it, then you're a fool. So one thing I have realized about Maresca is the fact that he's flexible. You understand? There's always the opportunity to improvise. There's always an opportunity to go with something different from the usual. So you can see Maresca play a 4-3-3. You can see Maresca play a 4-2-3-1, depending on the available players. And then tactical orientations must be justifiable so also because of the opponent. You understand? I mean, if you are playing against Man City, if you are playing against Liverpool, it is different from the way you are going to lay out from the way if you are playing against Newcastle, or the way if you are playing against Brighton, because there are teams that are a bit open, there are teams that are a bit defensive. So if you have the same tactical disposition, or if you have the same mentality or the same approach to every single game, then that's going to be wrong. And that is what I allowed Maresca for. Last season, you realize that he went with a two pivot, right? With Cole Palmer being on the flank or playing as a number 10. And this season, you realize that during the Club World Cup, Cole Palmer played in the finals against PSG. He played as the right-sided winger, and he got 2 goals. You understand? I mean, he had that freedom to and the captain as a number 10 as well. So these are the dispensations that might change depending on who is available. And don't forget that we have gone in for João Pedro, who can play across the front 3. We've gone in for Delap, who is a typical number 9. And remember, we also have the Senegalese guy.
Senegalese.
Yes. What's the name? The striker. Jackson there. You know? So it depends on approach. But one thing that is not going to change is the fact that Chelsea is not going to play with 2 up front. That is not going to change. So the only constant in the Chelsea formation is the fact that they're still going to go with a lone striker to give room for either the number 10 or Cole Palmer to drift in to become the traditional number 8. It also allows for the 2 pivots. Either it's always going to be what's the name, Enzo, Enzo and then Caicedo. These are going to be the pivots. And one thing that Enzo did in preseason, in the Club World Cup, that surprised me was the fact that the 2 pivots are not allowed to sit. Do you understand? They have the freedom to metamorphosize into a number 10, either left or either right. Yeah? So it allows them the freedom to attack really well, and also allow them the freedom to defend as a set. Because if you're two defensive midfielders all attack at the same time, then it means that your central defenders and your lateral defenders would also have to follow up, so that the spaces in between the rules will not be that much. So there are different tactical variations. That is what interests me and intrigues me about Enzo Maresca this season.
Okay, so it looks like Enzo Maresca and Chelsea are doing something right, and like Force said, they have this fluidity about them, and he shows that, and based on the circumstance, based on the team they are playing, based on their first 11, even they can be able to switch their style of play and then give their best. Now, our next discussion is about Liverpool and Crystal Palace, Community Shield, FA Community Shield, and Liverpool lost. That was a very big shocker to me. I didn't understand how, and bearing the fact that Liverpool scored the first goal of the game, and a lot of people were really expecting Liverpool to take this Community Shield, but Crystal Palace have won it. What is your overview of that game, Force?
When I saw the lineup, right, it was a star-studded lineup.
Yeah, very much.
You wouldn't believe this is just a friendly, because I have always said, and the English press even accept.
I mean, it is. There's a trophy for it. Well, by preseason.
Captain Reza is a friendly.
No, it's not because you said that's a Captain Reza.
It is.
That's disrespect. You both are disrespecting the Community Shield. Arsenal's birthright. Everybody disrespecting it.
Looks like that's the only thing Arsenal gets to win.
Come on.
They won another one, so the season is coming to start. Come on. Let's not even go into Arsenal. Let's stay on course.
So I say it's a glorified, friendly match, but you will have to.
You found a word to balance the.
It's made it better. Glorified friendly match.
Will you? No, I'll pose that question to you. So, do you also agree with the people that says the Club World Cup is also a glorified Premier, how do you call it, friendly matches?
Of course.
Oh, come on.
Wow. We have
this is the Club World Cup. We've discussed Club World Cup.
And I have enumerated countless reasons for that. But let's move to my point.
Let's stay of course.
I have always believed that the fact that you have a bunch of expensive players do not make your team better.
PSG is a very clear example.
A very clear testament to that fact. Do you understand?
Very, very much.
So people might have expected Liverpool to, romp out against Crystal Palace. But Crystal Palace from last season, when Oliver Glasner took over, have become a very solid team. You understand, to the extent that they won the FA Cup last season. So it should tell you that it wasn't going to be an easy role on the park. Yeah? And it rightly portrayed what I was expecting. But one thing that really caught my attention was the fact that Liverpool will always be Liverpool.
Exactly.
They are never going to be defensive. They are never going to be playing beautiful football. You see, the counter press and then the all-out football that Liverpool plays is what intrigues me. You understand? It's the total opposite of what Barca does, what previous Barca does, the total opposite of what Man City does. And that is what I believe football should be about. You understand? It's not about how many minutes or how long you keep the ball. It's about when you get the ball, what do you do with it? You understand? And you see, in their 4-2-3-1 formation, it allows for fluidity. You understand? It allows for fluidity. And if you have Etiquette, who has just come in and then scored a goal, and he needed that goal very much, because imagine being signed for close to 80-something million
very
euros.
Expensive.
And then there are talks that the team is going to bid for 150 million pounds for another striker. For you to be competing with that same striker. And you see that all the possibilities are that should Alexander Isak come to Liverpool, he's going to be the main forward.
Exactly, he has to be. All that money.
You understand? You understand? And
so what happens to Ekatiki?
So that is where Liverpool's problem is.
That is where the contention is.
Yeah.
I get to the point, because if Liverpool were not serious in bringing in Isak, they wouldn't have gone in with a bid of 120 million pounds.
Yeah.
So it tells you how Ekatiki felt with the discussions. So he needed to justify his inclusion. He needed to prove a point that even without Alexander, I could lead the front. And remember that Darwin Núñez has left.
Yes.
So now the burden to get a goals is not necessarily going to be on
Salah.
No, it's not
solely be on Salah.
On Ekitike, because he is the main reference for goals. So there's going to be a distribution, and Mo Salah will get you goals.
Yes.
He has demonstrated that he will get you the goals. So if the centre forward Ekitike is able to get you 20 goals a season, that would be a success.
Yeah.
Because Mo Salah can get you 30 goals a season. So if the other strikers or if the other forward players on the left flank, Gakpo, and then what's the name? Gakpo, who plays on the left flank.
Sometimes Subos. Left side there, sometimes Szoboszlai.
Okay, Szoboszlai and then Gakpo.
Yes.
If they're able to chip in with
probably Luis, who left for Bayern.
Luis, who left for Bayern.
Yeah.
So these are the permutations, because their only problem right now, I think, is how to get another central defender. Remember, Konate is left with only Konate and Van Dijk.
There's a certain Gomez.
No, you see, Gomez most of the time is more of a utility player. You understand? Where there's an emergency, he shifted to occupy that role. But for you to have a proper central defender who can come in as a cover, known as a proper central defender. So I think that is where the only problem is. But the midfield is solid, the attacking department is solid, and their goalkeeping department is as great as ever.
Okay, so Liverpool seems to, even though they are splurging a lot of money on, they've literally splurged millions on the transfer market and are looking forward to get Alexander Isak for like an outrageous amount. Even though they've made all these expensive transfers, they are still doing well. But they failed to win this game.
No, you don't necessarily have to win the Community Shield. You understand?
Okay.
You see, when you test a system, when you test the players, and you realize that the quality is there for you to roll along with the system, it is better, right, than winning and not testing the system.
Okay.
So the football that they played last season is what they play today. I get to the point. The only difference is that there's a new focal point. Who is the central striker?
Okay.
So that is going to be the only change. But what they've been doing last season is what they will continue to do. I get to the point. So it is not necessarily to win the Community Shield, but to test your players, to test their readiness for the start of the season, and then to take the tactical plans that you have and see whether they are going to work or not. And mind you, it is a long stretch of a season. You understand?
Exactly.
If you believe in the 4-3-3 system, if you believe in the 4-4-2 system, which is now becoming outdated, you might along the line switch things up. So you have to make sure that the coaches, the players are prepared. And this is a perfect example for Liverpool to demonstrate that, and that is what they demonstrated. Okay.
Liverpool has demonstrated they are ready for the season. Courage, what do you think? Do you think otherwise, or do you agree with Force's a submission on this topic.
You cannot have a team with a leading striker close to 100 million tell me losing such an important game. It's a normal thing. No, you're not in preseason. Come on, dear. The FA Community Shield is as good as winning the league Capital One Cup.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Oh yes.
No.
Wow.
Are you chipping in something else?
This is news.
No, it's Capital One Cup. You value Capital One Cup.
Winning the Carling Cup. Winning the Carling Cup.
Mm-hmm.
The Carling Cup, then Carling Cup.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now the Carabao Cup.
Carabao, yes.
You tell me you equate that to the Community Shield.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Because see, it's a challenge between the league winner.
Courage.
It's a challenge between the league winner and then the FA Cup. Which are these two trophies are the most prestigious.
The
English
for you to win the Carling Cup, right?
Mm-hmm.
You must have played about 6, 7, 8 matches
Mm-hmm.
for you to have the opportunity to win the Carling Cup.
Do you know the kind of players that play in that tournament or
what players?
Reserve league and then 21 players?
It depends.
It doesn't depend on anything. Have you seen a Capital One Cup lineup with every team's first 11? No, it doesn't happen. And then you mix up with even lower division clubs.
It depends on even the FA Cup is mixed up with lower division clubs.
But when it gets to the tougher side,
the same thing. The Carling Cup when it gets to the tougher side, it's the same thing.
No.
So you can see. It is not comparable.
Community Shield
is
as good as the Carabao Cup. That's what I'm saying.
But
you can never underestimate them.
I want to hear from.
How can you tell me?
I want to hear from the viewers.
The
in
Capital
your
One
own
Cup.
view,
Come
do you
on.
think the Carabao Cup is the same as the FA Community Shield Cup? I want to hear. No, this is a very interesting argument. Courage has made a submission.
Liverpool went into this game.
Liverpool
went to this game
Mm-hmm.
with Alisson as their goalkeeper.
Okay.
Jeremy Frimpong as their right back.
You know what? You make a submission.
Kekes, one of the best left backs in the EPL last season. Konate is on the list of Real Madrid. VVD doesn't need any introduction. McAllister, Gavin Birch, and then look at their front three. The other Soboslai in the middle. Look at their front three. Florian Wirtz, the most expensive player in the history of English football,
but
was on the pitch.
I cannot object to that. I think it's the decision of the coach, what division or wherever to play. Liverpool decided to bring their best 11.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. So
I'm sure Crystal Palace also did bring their best 11.
It's a depleted Crystal Palace team.
But Crystal Palace won the Community Shield.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It is unacceptable on the part of Liverpool. You don't go in war against someone literally like several steps below you and then lose and say, oh,
but the FA Cup winners,
FA Cup is bigger than the Premier League. You see, so Liverpool, I'm really disappointed in what Liverpool did today, how they showed up today, because they went in front twice and then came back on equal level, went on penalty. Their first kick got saved. Their goalkeeper Alisson also forced to save the Crystal Palace penalty kick, and then what happened? They went on to miss severally, and then Crystal Palace winning at the end of the day. It's a really disappointment going through the season, because if they have won this game, like they would be a bit relaxed. They'll say, "Oh, after all, we have something to show for," and then we know we are really prepared. But if you are not able to beat Crystal Palace in a cup competition,
the way you are extensively mentioning Crystal Palace,
yes, who plays for Crystal Palace on record? There is no single Crystal Palace player will be on that Liverpool team. Liverpool's best player is Eberechi Eze.
You see, I don't.
There is no single.
I don't debate on which club is better. You understand? Because you take it from different angles.
So it's Norwich better than Chelsea.
So let's look at players.
No,
do they have their squad?
It's Norwich City better than Chelsea Football Club.
You don't compare players. I get to the point. You compare what you're able to do on the pitch. I get to the point. Like you rightly indicated, the FA Cup is the oldest trophy in world football. Do you understand? So if Crystal Palace has been able to win the FA Cup against Man City, beating Man City in the finals, and you tell me that Crystal Palace is not the team that should be able to compete.
Didn't Liverpool beat the likes to also win the Premier League
and defeat Liverpool in a preseason?
Liverpool played 38 good matches to win the Premier League.
I don't know where the argument is.
Liverpool also played 38 matches to win the Premier League.
Okay, so viewers, here we have the conversation. Crystal Palace, Liverpool. who is the best side right now. Let's not forget.
That is a mismatch, host. That's a mismatch.
No, this is for the purpose of the game.
This is a mismatch.
Crystal Palace are FA Cup winners. Liverpool are Premier League winners. They've all come together for this Shield, Community Shield game. And then Crystal Palace wins, but some seem to think that Crystal Palace should have lost because Liverpool are the better side. I want to hear from you what you think. But to wrap up this segment, okay, what are your expectations for the next season? Premier League is starting next week. So a week from now, we'll be back here again, delving into some games. What are your expectations?
Looking forward for one of the best seasons in several years. Look at the Premier League, especially Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle. These are 5 clubs, and then they are all in contention for the league.
Okay.
So it tells you what these teams are up to. Even Manchester United, who finished 15th or so last season, they are also making purchases, high purchases. They're not just because Mbeumo, if not the best, one of the best, top 3 in the Premier League last season, has joined them. Cunha needs no introduction, very good striker. And then they've got a couple, Benjamin Sesko as well. So I'm looking forward to a very, very competitive league, and then with more exciting, and then they just open their broadcast rights for it to reach us properly.
Okay, so we are advocating for broadcast right for Premier League games so that we can bring you all the best. First, any last words? What are expectations for the Premier League season that's about to begin?
Well, it's going to be an interesting and tough season for all the Premier League clubs, you understand? And remember that staying in the league guarantees you close to 150 million pounds. So that is going to be the main headache for some of the clubs like Sunderland and stuff like that. So it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be an interesting season. Considering the fact that teams have really, really got out there to buy players. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be interesting for us, the supporters. But one thing that I think is going to be constant is the fact that there are going to be a lot of goals.
Yes,
a lot.
Goals are, because last season witnessed the highest goal scored in the Premier League history.
Okay.
Yes, but I think this season is going to surpass that.
Okay. So we're expecting more goals. And we're also appealing for broadcast rights for more matches so that we can bring you all the excitement. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Today has been an exciteful segment. We've had so much fun. I'm sure the fans have also had so much fun and they'll have so much to talk about. Catch you some other time for more exciting sports news on Our Media Sports. Bye for now.